The black car screeched to a halt, tires burning rubber against wet asphalt. I slammed my hand against the dashboard. "What the hell, Mario?" My twin brother said nothing, just stared through the rain-streaked windshield at the figure hunched by the roadside. The person wore a thin jacket that did nothing to hide the massive swell of their belly. One hand stretched out toward passing cars while the other cradled their stomach. Mario's voice came out strangled. "That's Teddy." My heart dropped straight through the floor of our Mercedes. 9 months. It had been 9 months since we'd thrown Teddy out of our penthouse, since we believed every lie our cousin Benson had whispered in our ears, since we'd called Teddy a cheater and a liar, and worse things that still made me sick to remember. Teddy looked up then, probably hearing the car idling too close, and their eyes met mine through the rain. Those same green eyes that used to light up whenever I brought home strawberry cake from the bakery Teddy loved. Those same eyes that used to watch Mario practice piano for hours, never once looking bored. Now those eyes went wide with something between fear and recognition. Teddy scrambled to their feet, nearly losing balance because of the obvious pregnancy, and started walking away fast. Too fast for someone 9 months pregnant and clearly exhausted. "We have to," I started. "I know." Mario was already opening his door. The rain soaked us instantly, but neither of us cared. We'd worn $1,000 suits in worse conditions. I ran ahead while Mario circled around, both of us knowing instinctively how to corner someone who didn't want to be caught. Years of Mafia training made some things automatic. "Teddy, wait." I called out. "Stay away from me." Teddy's voice cracked, and they clutched a small cardboard sign tighter. The words written on it in shaky marker made me want to throw up, pregnant and hungry. "Anything helps." Mario appeared from the other direction, effectively blocking Teddy's escape. "Please, just listen." "Listen." Teddy laughed, but it sounded like crying. "I listened 9 months ago when you called me every name you could think of. I listened when you told me to get out and never come back. I listened when you said you never wanted to see my face again." The rain kept falling. A car honked as it passed, probably annoyed we were blocking part of the road. I took a step closer. "We were wrong." "Wrong." Teddy repeated the word like it was in a foreign language. "You think wrong covers it? You think wrong makes up for throwing me out with nothing? For telling everyone in our world that I was trash? For making sure nobody would hire me or help me?" "Benson lied to us," Mario said quietly. Teddy flinched at the name. "Benson? Of course. Your precious cousin who never liked me from day one. And you believed him over me. Your supposed mate. Your supposed forever person." I remembered that day too clearly. Benson showing us photos on his phone, photos of Teddy supposedly meeting with the Valentino family, our biggest rivals. Photos of Teddy supposedly passing documents. All fake, we knew now. All manufactured by someone who wanted Teddy gone so he could have more influence over us. "We found out 3 weeks ago," I said. "Benson confessed when we caught him actually selling information to the Valentinos. Everything he said about you was a lie." Teddy swayed on their feet. Mario reached out instinctively to steady them, but Teddy jerked away. "Don't touch me. You're pregnant," Mario said, stating the obvious because apparently his brain had stopped working. "Is it? Are they ours?" The look Teddy gave us could have frozen fire. "What do you think? You kicked me out 9 months ago. Do the math. Twins." I knew it with sudden certainty. Teddy was carrying our twins, and they'd spent 9 months alone and homeless and begging on the street corner, while Mario and I lived in our penthouse and ran our Mafia empire. "Come home," I heard myself say. "Please, come back with us." "Home?" Teddy's laugh turned bitter. "I don't have a home. You made sure of that." A contraction hit then. I recognized it from the way Teddy's face went pale and their hand flew to their stomach. Teddy tried to stay standing, tried to keep that fierce expression, but their knees buckled. This time when Mario caught them, Teddy didn't have the strength to pull away. "Hospital," Mario said. "Now." "I can't afford a hospital." Teddy's voice came out small. "I was going to. I have a friend who said they'd help when the time came, but it's not time yet. Not for another week at least. Babies come when they want to come." I was already pulling out my phone. "We're taking you to St. Mercy's. We have doctors there." "Of course you do." Teddy sagged against Mario. "You have everything. Money, power, respect. While I have a cardboard sign and $3 in my pocket." The drive to the hospital happened in a blur. Mario held Teddy in the back seat while I broke every traffic law ever written. Teddy had 2 more contractions on the way, each one making them curl up and bite back sounds of pain. Breathe, Mario kept saying. Just breathe through it. Oh, thanks, Teddy gasped out between contractions. Breathing. Why didn't I think of that? Even in pain, even after everything, Teddy's sarcasm made something in my chest ache. I'd missed that sharp tongue. I'd missed everything about Teddy, actually. Every day for 9 months had felt wrong, like walking around with half my soul missing. St. Mercy's emergency entrance lit up as we pulled in. I had called ahead, so staff were already waiting with a wheelchair. Teddy got transferred from Mario's arms to the chair, and someone immediately started taking vitals and asking questions. When did contractions start? How far apart are they? Any complications during pregnancy? Teddy answered in a flat voice. About an hour ago. 10 minutes apart now. And I haven't exactly had prenatal care, so I couldn't tell you about complications. The nurse's expression flickered with something like judgment before smoothing out into professional blankness. She'd probably seen worse. This was the Mafia's hospital after all. They wheeled Teddy into a private room, the kind with expensive equipment and art on the walls. Teddy stared around at everything like they'd been dropped onto an alien planet. I can't pay for this, Teddy said to no one in particular. We're paying. I stood in the doorway, water still dripping from my hair. For everything. However long it takes. I don't want your money. Too bad. Mario appeared with dry clothes someone had found for Teddy. Hospital gowns, but clean and soft. You're having our babies. That means you get everything we can give you, whether you want it or not. Teddy opened their mouth, probably to argue more, but another contraction hit. This one lasted longer. When it passed, Teddy just looked tired. So incredibly tired. Fine, Teddy whispered. But after this is done, after the babies are born, I'm leaving. I'm taking them somewhere far away where your world can't touch us. I felt something crack in my chest. Teddy, don't. Teddy closed their eyes. Just don't. The doctor came in then. A woman named Dr. Lopez who delivered half the Mafia babies in the city. She examined Teddy efficiently while Mario and I stood against the wall, feeling useless. 7 centimeters dilated, Dr. Lopez announced. Twins are positioned well. This is moving fast for a first labor. We should have babies within a few hours. Hours? Teddy's voice pitched up. Not right now. Labor takes time, sweetheart. Dr. Lopez patted Teddy's hand. But you're doing great. Strong and healthy despite everything. Despite being homeless and starving for months, she meant. Despite having no prenatal care. Despite everything that should have made this pregnancy dangerous. Teddy had survived anyway. Had kept their babies safe anyway. All alone. I wanted to find Benson and kill him all over again. We'd already dealt with our cousin, but clearly we hadn't made him suffer enough. Can they stay? Teddy asked the doctor, gesturing vaguely at us. Or do they need to leave? That's up to you, Dr. Lopez said. This is your birth. Your choice. Teddy was quiet for a long moment. Another contraction came and went. Finally, Teddy spoke. They can stay. The babies should meet their fathers, I guess. Their fathers. Not their family. Not home. Just fathers. Clinical and distant. I suppose we deserve that. The hours crawled by. Teddy's labor progressed steadily while Mario and I took turns holding their hand through contractions, fetching ice chips, adjusting pillows. Teddy let us help, but didn't talk except to answer medical questions. Around hour 3, when the contractions were coming fast and hard, Teddy finally broke the silence. Why did you believe him? Mario looked up from where he'd been studying the floor. What? Benson, why did you believe him over me? Teddy's face was flushed with pain and effort. 9 months, and I still don't understand. I was your mate. We were happy, or I thought we were. So why was it so easy for you to throw me away? I felt sick. It wasn't easy. Really. Teddy gritted their teeth through another contraction. Because it looked pretty easy from where I was standing. One conversation with Benson, and suddenly I was nothing to you. He had proof, Mario said quietly. All fake. We know that now. But you didn't check then. Teddy's eyes glistened. Though whether from tears or pain, I couldn't tell. You didn't investigate. You didn't give me a chance to defend myself. You just decided I was guilty, and that was that. Another contraction hit before either of us could respond. This one made Teddy cry out, and Dr. Lopez came rushing in with nurses following. 10 centimeters, the doctor announced. Time to push. Everything happened fast after that. Teddy was amazing and terrifying, all fierce determination and exhausted strength. I held one hand while Mario held the other, both of us whispering encouragement that probably didn't help, but we couldn't stop ourselves. You're doing so good. Almost there. We can see the head. Teddy cursed at us between pushes, which honestly felt fair. The first baby came out screaming. A boy with a full head of dark hair and tiny fists already swinging. One more, Dr. Lopez said. Give us one more big push. Teddy sobbed, but pushed anyway. The second baby, another boy, slid out quieter than his brother, but just as perfect. Twins. 2 perfect baby boys who looked like a mixture of all 3 of their parents. The nurses cleaned the babies and did their checks while Teddy lay back, looking destroyed and relieved and empty all at once. Dr. Lopez stitched up some tears and kept talking in that calm voice doctors have, explaining everything she was doing. Both boys are healthy, she announced. 6 pounds each, which is excellent for twins. All their vitals look good. Can I? Teddy's voice came out hoarse. Can I hold them? The nurses brought both babies over, helping Teddy position them skin to skin. The babies settled against Teddy's chest like they'd been waiting 9 months for exactly this moment. Which they had, obviously. I watched Teddy stare down at their sons with an expression I couldn't name. Love, definitely. Wonder. But also something sad underneath it all. Something broken. Have you thought of names? One of the nurses asked cheerfully. Teddy shook their head. I didn't let myself think about names. I kept telling myself maybe they wouldn't be real. Maybe this was all some horrible dream. They're real, Mario said softly. And they're perfect. Yeah. Teddy traced one finger down a tiny cheek. They really are. The nurse handed me a clipboard. We need names for the birth certificates. Teddy closed their eyes. Oliver. For this one. They indicated the firstborn, the one who'd come out screaming. And August. For his brother. Oliver and August. Strong names. Good names. I felt something fierce and protective surge through me. My sons. My family. Except they weren't really my family, were they? Teddy had already said they were leaving. The next few hours were a weird combination of normal and terrible. Teddy tried to feed the babies with help from a lactation consultant. They succeeded mostly, though Oliver seemed more interested in yelling than eating. August just made quiet snuffling sounds and fell asleep almost immediately after latching. Mario and I took turns holding our sons, marveling at tiny fingers and tiny toes and the way the babies smelled like something indefinably perfect. But the whole time, Teddy watched us with that guarded expression. Not hostile exactly, just distant, like they were allowing temporary visitation rights. When Teddy finally fell asleep from pure exhaustion, the babies tucked in bassinet beside the hospital bed, Mario and I retreated to the hallway. We can't let them leave, I said immediately. Mario leaned against the wall. I know. Teddy's planning to run. To take Oliver and August and disappear. I know. So what do we do? I wanted to punch something. We can't force them to stay. That would make us worse than we already are. Mario was quiet for a long time. We prove we've changed. We prove we're sorry. We prove that we'll spend the rest of our lives making up for what we did. And if that's not enough, then we let them go. Mario's voice cracked. Because that's what you do when you love someone. You give them the choice you should have given them 9 months ago. I hated that my brother was right. Over the next 3 days in the hospital, we tried everything. I brought Teddy's favorite foods from restaurants around the city. Strawberry cake from that bakery. Soup dumplings from the little place in Chinatown. Pizza from the spot that made their crust extra crispy the way Teddy liked. Teddy ate everything mechanically, like food was just fuel and not something to enjoy. Mario tried different tactics. He talked about the penthouse, about how we'd kept Teddy's room exactly the same, about the piano that nobody played anymore, because music felt wrong without Teddy there to listen, about the little things we'd noticed were missing after Teddy left. A specific coffee mug, a houseplant that had died without Teddy to water it, the energy that made our place feel like home instead of just expensive real estate. Teddy listened to all of it with that same blank expression. You can't just buy your way out of this, Teddy said on day 3, when I arrived with a designer diaper bag filled with supplies. You can't throw money and pretty words at me and expect everything to be fixed. We know that, I said. We're not trying to fix things. We're just trying to help. Why? Teddy adjusted August in their arms. Oliver was sleeping in the bassinet, finally quiet after an hour of fussing. Why do you even care? You spent 9 months not caring. You threw me away like garbage. So why does it matter now? Mario set down the coffee he'd been drinking. It always mattered. We were just too stupid and too trusting of the wrong person to see it. That's not good enough. Teddy's voice stayed flat. You're Mafia. You're supposed to be smart. Suspicious. You investigate everything and trust nobody. But somehow with me, you didn't bother with any of that. One accusation and you were done. The truth of that hurt worse than any physical wound. You're right, I said. There's no excuse. We failed you completely. Yeah. Teddy looked down at August. You did. Dr. Lopez discharged them that afternoon with a warning to take things slow and a prescription for pain medication. Mario and I had arranged everything already. A car waiting downstairs. The penthouse prepared with a nursery that hadn't existed 3 days ago, complete with 2 cribs and more baby supplies than any 2 infants could possibly need. Teddy stood in the hospital room, holding August while a nurse checked Oliver one more time. They wore clothes that actually fit now, soft leggings, and an oversized sweater that Mario had brought. Their hair was clean for the first time in who knew how long. They looked healthier already, less like someone surviving and more like someone living. But their eyes still had that shuttered quality, like they were already planning their escape. Ready to go? The nurse came over with Oliver bundled in a blue blanket. Teddy took a deep breath. Actually, I need to talk to Dante and Mario. Alone. The nurse nodded and left, closing the door behind her. The silence stretched out. Oliver made a little grunting sound. August slept on peacefully. I'm not going back to your penthouse, Teddy said finally. My stomach dropped. Teddy, let me finish. Teddy shifted August to their other arm. I'm not going back to your place. But I'm also not running away to some other city. Not yet anyway. Mario straightened up. Okay. I have a friend. Taylor. They've been letting me stay in their apartment sometimes, when the shelters were full or when it was too dangerous on the streets. They said I could come back anytime. Teddy met our eyes directly for the first time in days. So that's where I'm going. With Oliver and August. You can visit them. I'm not keeping your sons from you. But I need space. I need to figure out who I am now. After everything. It wasn't what I wanted. I wanted Teddy home. Wanted our family under one roof where I could protect them and prove every day that we'd changed. But Mario's words from 3 days ago echoed in my head. That's what you do when you love someone. You give them the choice. Okay, I heard myself say. Can we at least set you up somewhere better? Taylor's place, you said it's small, right? With 2 babies, you'll need more room. I don't want your charity. It's not charity. Mario's voice was gentle. It's basic support for our children. Let us get you a proper apartment. 2 bedrooms at least. Somewhere safe with good locks and a doorman. Teddy hesitated. Please, I added. You don't have to see us except when we visit the boys. But let us do this much. Let us make sure you're safe and comfortable. Another long silence. August started fussing, and Teddy rocked him automatically, their body already knowing what to do despite only being a parent for 3 days. Fine, Teddy said eventually. But I picked the apartment. And I'm getting a job as soon as I can. I'm not living off you forever. Deal. We found a place in 2 days. A nice building in a quiet neighborhood, far enough from Mafia territory to feel separate, but close enough that Mario and I could visit easily. 2 bedrooms, a Kit Lopez with actual counter space, a living room with big windows that let in afternoon sun. The kind of place Teddy deserved and should have had all along. Teddy walked through the empty apartment with Oliver in a carrier strapped to their chest and August in their arms. It's too much. It's not enough, Mario countered. But it's a start. We moved Teddy in over the next week. Mario and I bought furniture and supplies, but we let Teddy make all the decisions. What color for the walls? Which crib design? Where to put the changing table? Whether to get the expensive stroller or the mid-range one. Teddy chose the mid-range option for everything, which made my heart hurt. Still trying to take up less space. Still trying not to be a burden. But slowly, so slowly, Teddy started to relax. They let Mario and I visit every day, usually in the afternoon when the babies were fed and changed. They even let us help sometimes. Mario was surprisingly good at diaper changes. I could get Oliver to stop crying faster than anyone. You're natural at this, Teddy commented one day, watching me rock Oliver in the nursery. Years of dealing with hot-headed Mafia soldiers, I joked. Crying babies are easier. Teddy almost smiled. Almost. The moments built up gradually. Small things. Teddy falling asleep on the couch while Mario and I watched the twins. Teddy asking Mario to grab something from the store and actually meaning it instead of saying it like a test. Teddy letting their guard down enough to complain about how much newborn twins cry at 3 in the morning. 1 month in, I brought dinner from that Italian place Teddy used to love. Real Italian food, not the fancy fusion stuff, just good pasta and bread and tiramisu for dessert. Teddy actually smiled when they opened the containers. I haven't had this in forever. I know. I started setting up plates. You used to get the same order every time. Fettuccine Alfredo with extra garlic bread. You remembered. I remember everything about you. Teddy's smile faded a bit, but they didn't shut down completely like they would have a few weeks ago. Progress, I thought. Tiny progress, but progress. We ate together while Oliver and August slept in their swings. Teddy talked about the babies, about how Oliver had smiled for the first time that morning, about how August was already trying to roll over, which seemed way too early, but maybe he was advanced, about the mom group they'd found online, and how everyone seemed to have totally different advice about everything. Parenting is just organized chaos, Teddy said. Nobody actually knows what they're doing. We'll figure it out together, Mario offered carefully. Teddy looked at him for a long moment. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. It wasn't yes, but it wasn't no either. 2 months after the twins were born, Teddy finally asked the question they'd been holding back. We were all in the living room, me reading a book about baby development while Mario assembled some complicated toy that Oliver and August wouldn't be able to use for at least a year. Teddy sat on the floor with both babies doing tummy time on a colorful mat. What did you do to Benson? I looked up. Do you really want to know? I think I deserve to know. Fair point. Mario set down the screwed teddy he'd been using. We had him investigated properly. Found all the evidence of what he'd really been doing. The fake photos he'd created. The money he'd been stealing from our accounts. The information he'd been selling to the Valentinos. And then, Teddy prompted. Then we gave him a choice, I said. Leave the city and never come back, or face Mafia justice for betraying the family. He chose to leave? Not exactly. Mario's expression went hard. He tried to run anyway. Got caught at the border. After that, we made sure he understood he wasn't welcome anywhere in our territory. Anywhere in the country, actually. We have connections. He won't find safe harbor. Teddy processed that. You didn't kill him. No. I met their eyes. Violence doesn't fix everything. We wanted him gone, not dead. But you would have killed him, Teddy said slowly. Before. The old you would have. Mario nodded. Probably. But we're trying to be better. Trying to think about consequences beyond immediate revenge. Trying to be the kind of men who deserve to be around Oliver and August. Deserve to be around me, you mean? Neither of us denied it. Teddy looked down at their sons, who were both drooling on the play mat and looking very pleased with themselves. I don't know if I can forgive you. I don't know if things can ever go back to how they were. We're not asking for that, I said. We're just asking for a chance to prove we've learned. To prove we can be better. Every day, Mario added. However long it takes. Teddy was quiet. August started fussing, and they picked him up automatically, settling him against their shoulder. I've been thinking about going back to school. I had 2 semesters left for my degree when everything happened. What were you studying? I asked, realizing with a sinking feeling that I'd never asked before. I'd been so caught up in Mafia business and being an alpha that I'd never thought to ask about Teddy's dreams. Library science. Teddy rubbed August's back in small circles. I wanted to be a librarian. Help people find books and information. Run story time for kids. Maybe curate special collections. It fits so perfectly that I felt stupid for not knowing. Teddy had always loved reading. Our favorite dates had been afternoons at bookstores, browsing for hours, and leaving with bags full of novels. You should go back, Mario said. We can help with tuition and childcare while you're in class. I don't need your money for school. Not money. Mario gestured around the apartment. Us. We'll watch Oliver and August while you're in class. We're their fathers. That's what fathers do. Teddy looked surprised, like they hadn't considered that option. You would do that? Of course, I said. Why wouldn't we? Because you're busy mafia alphas who run a whole criminal empire? We can delegate. I had already been delegating more, actually, giving more responsibility to our underbosses, stepping back from the day-to-day violence. Our sons are more important than any business deal. You are more important, Mario added quietly. Teddy's expression did something complicated. Not quite trust, but not quite disbelief either. I'll think about it. They enrolled in classes for the spring semester. Teddy was nervous the first day, fidgeting with their backpack straps while Mario and I stood in the apartment with two babies who were definitely about to realize their primary parent was leaving. Go, Mario made shooing motions. We've got this. Oliver doesn't like the blue pacifier, only the green one. And August needs to be burped for at least 5 minutes after eating, or he'll spit up everywhere. And there's pumped milk in the fridge that needs to be warmed to exactly body temperature, not too hot, or they'll refuse it. We know, I said patiently. You left a list and texted us the same information 3 times. I'm just worried. We're their parents too, Mario reminded gently. We'll figure it out. Teddy left reluctantly. The apartment felt too quiet without them, even with 2 babies gurgling away in their bouncy seats. Think we can handle 3 hours? I asked my twin. Absolutely not, Mario said cheerfully. But we're going to try anyway. We managed. Barely. Oliver cried for 45 minutes straight for no apparent reason. August did in fact spit up everywhere because I forgot the 5-minute burping rule. But by the time Teddy came home, both babies were clean and fed and reasonably content. Teddy stopped in the doorway, staring at the scene. Mario on the floor doing tummy time with August. Me in the rocking chair with Oliver finally sleeping against my chest. The apartment messy, but not destroyed. You survived, Teddy said. Barely, I admitted. But yeah, we survived. How was class? Mario asked. Teddy's whole face changed. Amazing. I forgot how much I love learning. And the professor said my essay from before I left was still one of the best she'd ever received, so I might be able to get a scholarship. That's great, I said, meaning it. Teddy deserved every scholarship. Every good thing. Everything they'd been denied while begging on street corners. The routine developed from there. Teddy went to classes 3 days a week. Mario and I watched the twins, slowly getting better at the whole parenting thing. We learned Oliver's different cries. That August liked music, but only classical, nothing with words. That both boys had inherited their omega parent stubbornness and would fight sleep like sleep was their mortal enemy. Teddy still kept emotional distance, but the walls were cracking. Slowly, in tiny moments that added up. Like when I brought coffee one morning exactly how Teddy liked it, and Teddy said thank you without that defensive edge. Like when Mario fixed the leaky faucet in the bathroom, and Teddy asked him to look at the weird noise the heater was making too. Like when we all fell asleep on the couch together one evening, exhausted from a day of babies crying and teething and general chaos, and Teddy didn't immediately pull away when they woke up sandwiched between us. For months after the twins were born, Teddy invited us to stay for dinner. Not just dropping off food, but actually staying to eat together. We ordered Thai food and ate at the little table in the Kit Lopez. Oliver and August were in their high chairs, too young to eat solid food, but old enough to make grabby hands at everything on the table. I talked to my advisor today, Teddy said between bites of pad thai. She thinks I can graduate by next spring if I take summer classes. That's fast, I said. I'm motivated. Teddy smiled a little. Turns out having 2 babies makes you really efficient with your time. Any idea what you want to do after? Mario asked. There's a position opening up at the main library downtown. Children's librarian. It's perfect, honestly. I could do story time and help with literacy programs and work with families. Teddy paused. I probably won't get it. I'm not even graduated yet. But I'm going to apply anyway. You'll get it, I said with absolute certainty. You don't know that. Yes, I do. You're smart and determined and amazing with kids. Any library would be lucky to have you. Teddy looked at me like they were seeing something new. You really believe that? Of course. You didn't before. Before everything happened, you mostly just saw me as, I don't know, an omega, something pretty to have around. I flinched because that was uncomfortably accurate. I'd loved Teddy before, but I'd loved the idea of Teddy maybe more than the actual person. The pretty Omega who fit into our Mafia world. Who didn't ask too many questions. Who made our penthouse feel less empty. I'd never asked about library science degrees or career dreams or any of the real things that made Teddy who they actually were. You're right, I said. I didn't see you properly before. I'm sorry for that too. Teddy nodded slowly. At least you admit it. The conversation moved on to safer topics. Baby milestones and teething remedies, and whether Oliver's hair was going to stay dark or lighten up like August was doing. Normal family conversation. The kind I had never imagined having, but now couldn't imagine living without. After dinner, Mario helped clean up while I gave both boys a bath. Bath time had become my specialty somehow. I'd figured out how to wash wiggly babies without getting water everywhere. Mostly, Teddy came into the bathroom and leaned against the doorway, watching. You're really good at this. Thanks. I rubbed gentle soap into August's hair. I had no idea I could be good at something like parenting. Always thought I was just made for Mafia stuff. Violence and deals and territory disputes. People can be more than one thing, Teddy said quietly. Yeah, I'm learning that. I finished with August and wrapped him in a hooded towel that made him look like a tiny duck. Teddy took August while I started on Oliver, who was splashing enthusiastically and soaking my shirt. He's going to be trouble, Teddy commented, watching Oliver attack his bath toys. Wonder where he gets that from, I said. Teddy actually laughed. A real laugh, not the bitter kind. I wasn't that bad. You absolutely were. I remember you arguing with my underboss about the proper way to organize the pantry for 20 minutes. He was doing it wrong. Canned goods go with canned goods, not mixed with dry pasta. See? Trouble. We got both boys into pajamas and settled into their cribs. Oliver fought sleep as usual, but August went down easily. Teddy stood in the nursery doorway, watching me rock Oliver and hum some tuneless song. Stay, Teddy said suddenly. I looked up. What? Tonight. Both of you. Stay tonight. Teddy's face flushed. Not like that. Just, it would be nice. To not be alone. To have help if they wake up at 3 in the morning. To have company. Something warm bloomed in my chest. We'd like that. Mario appeared with blankets and pillows. We made up the couch and the armchair, neither of us willing to take Teddy's bed even when offered. Teddy stood in the middle of the living room in their pajamas, looking young and uncertain. This doesn't mean everything is fixed, Teddy said. I'm still angry. I'm still hurt. But maybe I don't have to do this completely alone. You were never supposed to do it alone, Mario said gently. That was our mistake. A huge mistake. And we'll spend forever making up for it if you let us. Teddy nodded. Okay, let's try. But I need you to understand something. Anything, I said. If you ever, and I mean ever, believe someone else over me again, if you throw me away again, there's no third chance. I'll take Oliver and August, and you'll never see any of us again. I promise you that. The words were hard and meant to hurt, but they were also fair. Understood, Mario and I said together. Good. Teddy wrapped their arms around themselves. Now someone better figure out how to work the TV, because I've been too tired to watch anything in months, and I miss trashy reality shows. We fell into a new normal over the next few months. Not the old normal from before everything fell apart, but something different. Something better, actually, even if it was complicated. Mario and I spent most nights at Teddy's apartment now. Sometimes we slept on the couch and chair, sometimes Teddy let us share the bed, but always with a careful distance maintained. No touching beyond accidental brushes. No kissing. Just 3 people learning to be a family together. Teddy graduated at the top of their class in library science. The ceremony was small, but Mario and I were there in the front row with 2 6-month-old babies who babbled through most of the speeches. Teddy walked across that stage to get their diploma, and I had never felt prouder of anything in my life. We should celebrate, Mario said afterward, juggling August and a diaper bag. Let's go to that Italian place, Teddy suggested. The one that does the good tiramisu. We went, the 5 of us crowding into a booth while Oliver tried to grab everything on the table and August chewed on his fist. Other diners smiled at us, probably thinking we looked like a normal happy family. And maybe we were. A weird, complicated, broken and healing family, but a family anyway. I got the job, Teddy announced halfway through dinner. I nearly dropped my fork. The library job? Yeah, they called this morning. I start next month. Teddy grinned, and it was the first genuine happy expression I'd seen in almost a year. I'm going to be a children's librarian. That's amazing. Mario reached across to squeeze Teddy's hand. Teddy let him for about 3 seconds before pulling back, but it was progress. We celebrated with extra dessert and probably too much wine for Teddy, who was still nursing, but it was a special occasion. Oliver fell asleep in my arms. August was wide awake, staring at the restaurant lights like they held the secrets of the universe. Later, back at the apartment, after babies were asleep and we were all exhausted, Teddy flopped onto the couch between us. I never thought I'd get here. When I was on the street, pregnant and alone, I couldn't imagine a future. Couldn't imagine anything beyond just surviving. I'm so sorry, I said for probably the millionth time. I'm sorry we put you through that. I know. Teddy leaned their head on my shoulder, which was new and terrifying and wonderful. I think I'm starting to believe you actually are sorry. That you've actually changed. We have, Mario promised. We'll never make you feel that way again. Good. Teddy yawned. Because I'm too tired to deal with any more drama. 2 babies is enough chaos for 1 lifetime. We dozed off like that, all 3 of us tangled together on the couch. When I woke up a few hours later because Oliver was crying, Teddy was still pressed against my side, still trusting enough to sleep vulnerable, still letting us in bit by bit. The library job started with lots of excitement and nervous energy. Teddy came home that first day practically glowing, talking about story time and the kids who'd been so engaged and the other librarians who seemed really nice. One little girl asked if I was a prince, Teddy said, laughing while changing August's diaper. Because apparently I look like a prince from her favorite book. You do, I agreed. Pretty enough to be a prince anyway. Teddy rolled their eyes, but smiled. Flatterer. Just honest. Things continued to improve slowly. Teddy smiled more. Laughed at my terrible jokes. Let Mario teach them a simple piano piece. Trusted us with the babies without leaving 17 text messages. But there was still distance. Still walls. Teddy never said I love you. Never initiated anything physical beyond friendly touches. Never talked about the future beyond practical logistics. I understood. You don't forgive 9 months of hell easily. You don't forget being thrown away by the people who promised forever. 8 months after Oliver and August were born, Teddy asked us both to sit down for a serious conversation. My stomach dropped, convinced this was it. Teddy was going to tell us to leave. We'd pushed too hard or not hard enough or done something wrong. Instead, Teddy said, I think I'm ready to try dating again. My brain short-circuited. What? Dating? You know, that thing people do when they like each other and want to see if they could work as a couple. Teddy fidgeted with their hands. I think we could try it. Actually try. Not just co-parenting. Not just friends living together. Actually dating. Like going out. Mario asked carefully. Doing couple things? Yeah. Movies and dinner and whatever normal people do. I want to get to know you again. The real you. Not the Mafia alphas who threw me out. Not the guilty fathers trying to make up for mistakes. Just Dante and Mario. Who you actually are now. My heart was beating so fast it hurt. Yes. Whatever you want. However you want to do this. Okay. Teddy took a deep breath. But we go slow. And if at any point I need space, you give it to me. No pushing. No assuming. We communicate. Deal, Mario and I said together. Our first official date was the following Saturday. My parents volunteered to watch Oliver and August, which was both helpful and terrifying. The twins had reconciled with our parents after everything, explaining what Benson had done and how we'd failed Teddy. The older alphas had been appropriately horrified and had been trying to make amends ever since. Teddy wore a nice sweater and jeans that actually fit properly. They'd gained back the weight they'd lost during those 9 months, and then some. They looked healthy. Happy even. Nervous, but happy. We went to a night market that had opened up downtown. Food stalls and craft vendors, and string lights everywhere. Not fancy or expensive, just fun. Teddy dragged us to a booth selling handmade candles, and spent 20 minutes smelling every single one. This one smells like Christmas, Teddy said, holding up a green candle. It's September, I pointed out. So, Christmas smells are good year-round. Teddy bought 3 candles, including the Christmas one. We got street food and ate while walking, trying weird fusion tacos and bubble tea and fried dough covered in cinnamon sugar. Teddy got powdered sugar all over their face. Mario reached out to brush it off, and Teddy let him, even leaned into the touch a little. "This is nice," Teddy said later. We'd found a spot away from the crowds, sitting on a bench under fairy lights. Just being normal. No drama. No trauma. Just 3 people on a date. "Is it weird?" Mario asked. "Dating both of us?" "A little," Teddy admitted. "But it was always both of you. Before everything happened, I loved both of you equally. Different, but equal. And I think maybe I could again. Someday. Could love us. Not did love us. But could. Future tense. It was hope. We went on more dates after that. Some with both of us. Some with just one so Teddy could have individual time with each. We went to museums and parks. Took cooking classes that ended with burned food and lots of laughing. Went to a pottery place and made extremely ugly bowls that Teddy insisted on keeping. "These are terrible," I said, looking at my lopsided creation. "That's what makes them perfect," Teddy countered. Proof we tried something new together. 3 months of dating, and Teddy still hadn't said "I love you." Hadn't initiated anything beyond hand-holding and occasional hugs. But they were warmer. Softer. More like the person they'd been before, but stronger somehow. Like they'd been broken and healed tougher. Then Oliver got sick. Nothing serious, just a bad cold. But he was miserable. Crying constantly, refusing to eat, running a slight fever. Teddy was exhausted from being up all night. Mario and I did our best to help, but it was Teddy that Oliver wanted, crying for his parent whenever we tried to take over. "Go sleep," I insisted when Teddy swayed on their feet. "We've got him. He won't settle without me. Then we'll figure it out. You need rest." Teddy finally agreed when they nearly dropped a bottle from sheer exhaustion. They stumbled to bed and passed out instantly. Mario and I took turns with Oliver, rocking him and humming and trying every trick we knew. August, thankfully, slept through everything in his crib. Around 3 in the morning, Oliver finally exhausted himself into sleep. I held him carefully, afraid to move and wake him up. Mario sat beside us on the floor of the nursery, looking as tired as I felt. "We're really doing this," Mario said quietly. "Being parents. Being partners. Building a life." "Yeah." I adjusted my hold on Oliver. Never thought I'd be here. In a tiny apartment with a sick baby and a partner who barely trusts us. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. Even when we were kings of the city. When everyone feared us and we had everything we wanted. Especially then. I looked at my sleeping son. Because this is what actually matters. This is real. Family. Love. Trust we have to earn instead of demand. "Think Teddy will ever love us again?" Mario asked. "Actually love us, not just tolerate us." "I don't know. Maybe. But even if they don't, even if this is all we get, it's enough. Being here. Being allowed to be part of their life. Being fathers to Oliver and August. That's enough." Teddy appeared in the doorway then, still half asleep. "Is he okay?" "Finally sleeping," I whispered. "Good." Teddy came over and very carefully extracted Oliver from my arms. They settled into the rocking chair, cradling their son. "You too should sleep. I'm better now." "You sure?" "Yeah." Teddy looked at us both with soft eyes. "Thanks for helping. Thanks for being here." "Always," Mario promised. Teddy smiled. "I know." That became the turning point somehow. Teddy let us in more after that. Started including us in bedtime routines naturally. Asked our opinions on parenting decisions. Touched us more casually. A hand on an arm. Leaning against us on the couch. Hugs that lasted longer. 1 year after the twins were born, we had a small birthday party. Just us and my parents and Teddy's friend Taylor, who'd helped during those hard months. 2 cakes because Oliver and August needed their own to smash. Presents everywhere. Balloons that both babies were more interested in than any toy. "Make a wish," Taylor said when we lit the candles. Teddy closed their eyes. When they opened them, they were looking at Mario and me. I already got my wish. My boys are healthy. We're safe. We're together. That's everything. After everyone left, and the babies were asleep, sticky with cake and exhausted from excitement, Teddy pulled both of us into the Kit Lopez. "I have something to say, and I need you to just listen." My heart started racing. "Okay. I forgive you." Teddy said it clearly, no hesitation. "I forgive you for what you did. For believing Benson. For throwing me out. For everything. It doesn't mean I forget. I'll never forget. But I forgive you. Mario's eyes got suspiciously shiny. Teddy, I also love you. Teddy continued, voice steady. Both of you. I fought it for a long time. Told myself I couldn't love people who'd hurt me that badly. But you're not those people anymore. You've proven you've changed. You've shown up every single day for a year. You've been patient and kind and exactly what Oliver and August and I needed. I couldn't speak. Could barely breathe. So if the offer still stands, Teddy said, if you still want forever with me, I'm saying yes. I'm saying let's actually try to be a family. A real family. Not just co-parents. Not just friends who date sometimes. Actually together. Yes, I managed. Yes, always yes. Forever, Mario added. However you want it. However you need it. Teddy smiled, and it was that same bright smile from before everything fell apart. Okay then, let's do this. We stood there in the Kit Lopez, three people who'd been broken and were slowly becoming whole again. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. There would still be hard days and old wounds and moments of doubt. But we had time now. We had trust being rebuilt brick by brick. We had two beautiful boys sleeping in the next room and a future stretching out ahead of us. And for the first time in a year, that future looked possible. That future looked good. That's it for this story, friends. And if you were captivated watching this family find their way back to each other, drop a like and let me know what you thought in the comments. Maybe tell me which part hit you the hardest, or if you've got ideas for what you want to see next. I love hearing from you all, and your support means everything. See you in the next one.